Hey guys, Coach Sarah here. So I'm going to go in good detail here on the whiteboard. I'm going to just show you the board. So sorry, it's not the prettiest video ever, but I am going to cover deadlift, squats and hinge next to each other so you can see how they kind of compare light to heavy. And then for push and pull, I'm going to cover them separately. And then I'm going to cover handstand push-up progressions and the toe to bar progressions because I think those involve a good bit of detail. As for the Turkish get progressions and the double under progressions, I'm going to leave those out because I think they're self-explanatory. If you have any questions, please let us know. But hopefully this will be a little more of a detailed video and just kind of talk through each thing and why we chose to do it that way. So if you have any questions, hopefully this covers it. And if not, feel free to shoot us a message. As for the Medcons, those are going to be just a lot of variety is going to be our goal. They are going to kind of switch back between anaerobic and aerobic depending on light and heavy days. And we are accounting for the volume to the best of our abilities. This is a little bit of a learning curve because there's 4 of us. So I'm just trying to make sure we track the volume. But again, someone made a good point. Time will condense it and make sure we don't overdo it. But I just want to let you know that there is a plan for everything. So please ask us if you don't understand, because I think understanding the plan will make this a lot easier to coach. So yeah, hope this video is helpful and let me get into the details. Okay guys, so for squat on week 1, we're going to do a 1-minute max tonnage test. We're then going to go into 4x8 with a 3-second eccentric for an RP of 6. This is considered your heavy week on squat. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to hinge. So week 1 for hinge is a light week. So it's just 4x8 at RP of 6. And then we go back to squat. On week 2, we go 4x8 at an RP of 6. So how we're making that a little bit lighter is by removing the eccentric. So if you're someone that's only coming to class twice a week, you could add that eccentric in on the squat if they weren't coming to the hinge day, just so that they could get a little more load. So if you roll over to the hinge day on week 2, we're doing the 1-minute max tonnage test there. Make sure you guys read through our little explanation of that because I want to make sure our athletes are loading it correctly where they're actually getting the most tonnage they can get. On week 3, we're going to go 4x6 on the squat with a 5-second eccentric at an RP of 7. So we've reduced the volume, we've increased the weight because we've upped the RP, and we've also added an additional 2 seconds to the eccentric, which is going to mean more time under tension, i.e. more strength gains. So on week 3 for hinge, it's a lighter week. It's just a 4x6 at an RP of 7, so no eccentric. Again, if someone's only coming twice a week, they miss the squat, feel free to add the eccentric on that day. Rolling back on squat week 4 is a 4x6 at an RP of 7, so that's a lighter week. Then we roll over to week 4 on deadlifts. It's 4x6 with a 5-second eccentric at an RPE of 7. Now back to squat. We'll be doing dual kettlebells on week 5 if an athlete needs a dual kettlebell, meaning they've exceeded the heaviest kettlebell or it's just an easier way for them to hold. We'll let them go ahead and dual. They're going to be doing 4x6 with a 5-second eccentric with an RPE of an 8. So again, we're keeping the reps the same now, but we're just increasing the load. Rolling over to week 5 on hinge, we can now add a band to the deadlift just in case it's not heavy enough. We can band it, which will make it a little heavier. It's going to be 4x6 at RPE of an 8. Again, that's a lighter week on hinge. Week 6 on squat will be a 4x6 at an RPE of 8, so it's a lighter week. Rolling over to deadlifts, it'll be 4x6 with a 5-second eccentric at an RPE of 8, so that's your heavier week on hinge. Squat on week 7, we're going to redo the 1-minute max tonnage test we did on week 1. Hopefully athletes will either be able to do more weight for the same amount of reps or more reps with the same amount of weight, ultimately meaning they've improved their overall strength. And then we're going to do just a lighter day kind of, but on the heavier side as well if people want to, a 4x6 with an RPE of 8 to 9 on hinge. Be aware that the next week is that 1-minute max tonnage test, so don't kill them too hard. Week 8 for squat is just going to be stationary lunge. We're going to start progressing our single leg variations for our next mesocycle. And then on week 8 for hinge, we're gonna do the 1 minute max tonnage test. And again, hopefully athletes will have improved. Okay guys, now for the push portion, I'm gonna just do push and then pull versus alternating between them because there's some other stuff I wanna cover. So on push week 1 will be half kneeling single arm kettlebell presses. It's the light week, it'll be 4x8 at an RPE of 6. Please note that we have them half kneeling for a reason. It removes a couple different joints from the equation and increases length in the lat, allowing athletes to have better overhead pressing motions. So we will build from the ground up. So please don't progress them to standing. Have them half kneeling even if they're an elite athlete. On week 2, we're gonna do half kneeling again, single arm kettlebell presses, except this time there'll be a 3-second eccentric, which will just increase time under tension. On week 3, we'll do tall kneeling, meaning both knees will be on the ground. That will add in the additional factor of the hip. So if there is some sort of issue in the hip, you'll find out because when they go to tall kneeling, they'll start to arch their back versus when they were half kneeling, they weren't arching their back. So we'll be doing 4x6 at an RPE of 7 there. On week 4, we'll do tall kneeling again, but this time we'll add the eccentric, so that'll increase the load. On week 5, we'll add in the ankles and go. Real quick, guys, I'm gonna make a quick correction. It's actually gonna be adding ankle and knee joints. I forgot to mention the knee press, and see if anybody's, again, their posture changes simply by adding an additional joint. We'll do 4x6 at an RPE of 8 on week 5. On week 6, we'll do a standing press again, 4x6, add the 5-second eccentric, RPE of an 8. On week 7, we're gonna go to push presses. Now we're gonna involve the legs. So whatever they were doing before for the standing press, they'll be able to do more because of the momentum of the leg drive. So they'll do a 4x6 at an RPE of 8 or 9 on week 7. And on week 8, they'll do a 4x6 at an RPE of 9 to 10. For our elite athletes, they'll be able to build up through that 4x6 set to a heavy weight for the 6 to see what their max 6 rep push press is. So now let's go over to the pull. So for pull, we're gonna start on week 1 with a test at an 8RM pull-up. This should be the hardest pull-up someone can do, so the least amount of resistance that they need, like if they're using a green band, so let's see if they can get down to red bands. On week 2, we're gonna do ring rows or pull-ups at 4x8. On week 3, we're gonna do ring rows or pull-ups 4x6 with a 5-second eccentric. So that's gonna just increase time under tension, help people really build that strength to control that motion. On week 4, we're gonna go to jumping pull-ups. If athletes are already at the point where they can do pull-ups, they'll go to pull-ups, and if pull-ups are still easy, they'll go to weighted pull-ups. So this will be 4x6 at an RP of 7. So the way you make that harder, again, is add weight or make it a more challenging exercise by reducing bands or making them control that jumping pull-up a little bit more. On week 5, we do add the eccentric to the pull-ups. So I'd be very careful with the weighted pull-ups on this one. But for the jumping pull-ups, this will be really helpful because the athletes will be forced to try to control that down versus just like plummeting to the bottom. On week 6, we're doing jumping pull-ups, and weighted pull-ups again, 4x6, RP of 8. We'll retest on week 7, and hopefully all these eccentrics and multiple sets will pay off to increased 8RM capabilities in the pull-up. On week 8, we'll go 4x10 scapular pull-ups and start our kipping progressions. Okay guys, so let's cover the skills of toes to bar and how we're gonna progress this. So week 1, we're gonna do 4x20-second hollow holds, 40 seconds for our elite athletes, 4x10 knees to 90, toes to bar for our elite athletes. On week 2, we're gonna increase the hollow hold by 10 seconds for our novice athletes, and we're gonna increase it by 20 for our elite athletes. We're gonna stick with the 4x10 knees to 90. Now some people will have progressed past this. As a coach, you can go ahead and progress them to knees to chest. And for the toe to bar athletes, just keep them doing toes to bar and feel free to add maybe an additional 5 reps, so 4x15. On week 3, we're gonna go 4x10 V-ups, 4x10 kipping knees to elbow, and we're gonna do 4x15 toes to bar for those athletes that haven't already progressed to the 15 reps. On week 4, we're going to go 4x10 V-ups, 4x10 kipping knees to elbow again, and 4x15 toes to bar. I'm not going to add any volume just yet. On week 5, we are going to go 4 sets of unbroken max alternating toes to bar. Now, some athletes will not have progressed past the kipping to elbow. Just keep them there and have them do that. But if they are able to do the alternating toes to bar, that is where we're headed. For our elite athletes, they're going to do 4 sets of unbroken toes to bar, a minimum of 1 rep and a maximum of 15 reps for 4 sets. So if they are able to get up there and get 2 in 4 sets, perfect. If they're able to do 15 for all 4 sets, great. On week 6, we're going to do 4 sets of unbroken max alternating toes to bar again. And for our elite athletes, it's going to be 4 sets of unbroken toes to bar, a minimum of 1 rep and a maximum of 20 reps. On week 7 and 8, we're going to test max unbroken toes to bar in a single set because we went from alternating toes to bar. Now they should be able to attempt to maybe get their first ever dual toe to bar, meaning both toes touching at the same time. So our goal is by week 7 and 8 is to get athletes who are close to making those toes to bar finally have them. All right, guys, I'm going to walk you through the handstand push-up progression that we're going to be doing for this mesocycle. On week 1, we're going to do 4x10 pike push-ups. If an athlete cannot do that, you can take them just to a push-up or a elevated push-up. We're gonna take, for progressions, inverted box push-ups for those athletes that pike push-ups are too easy, or handstand push-ups for athletes that already have handstand push-ups. On week 2, we're gonna go 4x2 each around the world box handstand walks. Again, for athletes that have handstand push-ups, let's just go ahead and stay with a 4x10 handstand push-up, just getting that practice in. On week 3, we're going to go to inverted box push-ups from the around the worlds. And for our elite athletes, they're going to go 4 sets of 5 slow eccentric handstand push-ups just to build time under tension. We will repeat week 3 on week 4 just because sometimes doing it twice is great. On week 5, we're going to do 4x40 second isometric overhead kettlebell holds or handstand holds. On week 6, we'll do 4x40 seconds, isometric overhead kettlebell holds or handstand holds. And for our elite athletes, we'll go a 4x10 strict handstand push-up. If an athlete's really efficient at strict handstand push-ups, at this point, we're going to do 4x5 deficit handstand push-ups. But in order to do that, they have to be able to do 5 strict and 5 kipping unbroken before we're going to demonstrate deficits. I will be posting a video of strict handstand push-ups, deficit handstand push-ups, and kipping handstand push-ups. In case you're not able to show them yourself, you can use these videos as demo videos for your athletes. On week 7, we're going to review handstand push-ups and kipping. And for the elite athletes, it'll be the same as week 6. And on week 8, we're going to encourage every athlete to complete max unbroken handstand push-ups at their hardest variation. Some people might still be at push-ups, but hopefully we'll have some athletes that get their first handstand push-up or their first deficit handstand push-up with this progression. Okay guys, real quick before we close out the programming, I just want to explain that on week number 4 for handstand push-ups, this is a good example of repeat. The reason why we repeat something, or you'll see something for multiple weeks in a row, is because a lot of times with stuff like handstand push-ups, it's a skill acquisition issue. So the athletes just need more practice. They don't necessarily need harder progressions. They just need more practice doing the work. So you'll find that in our mesocycle this time around, most definitely, that you'll see stuff that seems somewhat redundant. Just know that all the evidence shows that there doesn't always need to be something progressing. Sometimes someone will get better simply by just doing the skill over and over again, much like a double under. The best way to get better at double unders is to keep trying to do double unders. So I just wanted to cover that in case people are like, well, why are we not doing a progression each week? Sometimes the best progression is to stay where you are and just hone the skill. So I hope this is helpful, guys, and I hope that my explanations were detailed enough and this was an interesting way to do it. So I hope you enjoyed it and good luck coaching.